This is one smartphone that I actually love very much. Since I got this phone, it has been very impressive in performance and my day-to-day activities for the times I've used it. One thing though I really don't like about this phone is the price tag. The phone is quite expensive. But we're going to go inside and find out if this price that they're asking for it is actually worth it, alright? This phone opens through the back. So what I will do is I'll use the razor, try to create an incision by the side where I can put in the plastic card, and then I'll be trying to lift off the back from the frame of the device. The reason why I dip in the plastic card occasionally into the ethanol is so that it will soften the adhesive that is at the back of the phone. For this kind of work, most people will use a heat gun and then a plastic card to try to take off this back cover from the frame of this device. But for me, over the years, I've tried to develop an adaptive system of working where I can actually open up a phone anywhere without needing to use a heat gun or needing to be in a full technical workshop. So I can open up a phone with items I just find in normal hardware stores or in supermarkets. Besides, one of the reasons I don't like using heat gun to open mostly plastic devices is because plastic expands when it comes in contact with heat. So if I open this phone with heat, what basically happens later on is that when I want to couple it back or when I want to put it back together, you would notice that the back cover has expanded a little bit. It might not be much, but it will be there. And from a technical standpoint, or from the kind of person I am, I don't really like it. So I'll just prefer to do it manually, where whenever I want to feed it back, it's going to fit back perfectly. So finally, after going back and forth for like a minute, I was able to take off the plastic back cover. And I really find this funny because this is a phone that is rated IP67 water and dust resistant. And so I expected the glue that is holding this plastic back cover to this frame to be a little bit more aggressive like we see on flagship devices. But it's not that aggressive, so anybody can just open this phone without too much stress. Please do not try this at home if you don't know what you're doing, else you're going to damage your phone. So here's that plastic back cover. As you can see, it's purely plastic. It can bend, it can flex. Also, at the edges of this plastic back cover, you can see the adhesive that is actually sealing off the device from water entering. And once again, it is very light. Like, the adhesive is light, it doesn't look aggressive. Flagship phones are usually rated IP68 water resistant, and this one is rated IP67, and the sealing is not aggressive. So if I were you, I wouldn't really want to test this phone out in water, because from what I see inside here, chances are that the phone will soak very easily. So this is the wall on the frame of the device. This is where the glue rests on top and seals off the device and keeps water away from entering. And down here we can see this graphite sheet wrapped in nylon that is resting on top of the speakers too, and that is meant to keep water out of the speakers in case water finds its way through the wall. There are 17 screws here that are holding the entire structure together, so let's take them out. We're going to go ahead and take out this plastic frame that is holding the main board of the device and the uppermost part of the phone together. So here on this plate, you have the NFC coil, and you also have some graphite sheet wrapped in nylon here, and it's meant to keep out water from the device. You will also find the earpiece that serves as the second speaker of the phone. Back to the main frame of the device here, we're going to unclip these two mini cables here. These are your device's network cables. If anything happens to these cables, your phone is not going to be getting proper signal anymore. That is why most times when you take your phone out for repairs, you'll actually notice that your phone will not be picking up strong signals anymore after repairs. This is because most times, most technicians actually forget to either clip these cables back or they accidentally cut them. So next up, I'm going to unclip that front-facing camera. This sensor is quite tiny. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't have OIS. It just takes selfies and videos. So I'm going to take off this one screw here that is holding the main board to the carcass of the device. So I'm going to remove the board from the frame of the device here. But one thing I noticed here was that the board refused to come out. I tried and tried and tried. It just wouldn't come out, only for me to realize that I didn't take out the SIM tray. That is a pro tip from me to you. Whenever you're opening a phone or opening any gadget, If any part of the phone that you're trying to open refuses to come out, do not force it. Take your time and look for the reason why it's not coming out. There's definitely a reason. Either a screw is holding it down, some sort of adhesive, or something else. Once you find out what it is, you're going to remove that part easily. After removing the SIM tray and unclipping all the ribbon cables, the board was able to come out very easily. So here's a closer look at that board. One thing I love about Samsung, or what I've loved about their devices that I've opened over the years, is how solid the board feels. You know, you can actually see the design precision, and you can actually see how the chips are well soldered to the board. Let's take a closer look at these cameras. I'll come back to the main board shortly. I will first of all unclip the 64 megapixel main lens here. Taking a closer look here, this lens has OIS, that's optical image stabilization, for steady videos and all. And the sensor is just about the same size as what is in the Galaxy A70 and A71. The major difference here is the OIS that it has. One thing you have to know about these cameras is they all use what is known as pixel binning technology. If you want your smartphone to take better images, the manufacturers will have to feed in a large camera sensor into your phone, and that will result in a phone that looks like my DSLR camera. So in 2018, leading smartphone camera makers like Samsung and Sony came up with a solution for higher megapixel cameras that will fit into a smartphone and still maintain the small smartphone form factor. And these cameras will be able to take better pictures in low light situations. So they introduced the pixel binning technology. This technology uses lower resolution cameras to capture brighter and clearer images. Now, how did they do it? The cameras of the phone will replicate the image into 4 times its original resolution, and that will result in an image that is brighter, captures more details, and of course with a larger file size. So this means a 64 megapixel camera sensor like this one is actually 16 megapixels. So the camera will combine 4 of these 16 megapixel images together, and that will give you a 64 megapixel image that will be brighter, more colorful, more details, and of course a larger file size. Next up, we'll unclip the 8 megapixel telephoto lens. A closer look at it shows you that it also has optical image stabilization. Here is a 12 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide angle lens. As you can even see, the field of view of the lens is wide, and honestly I've been impressed by the pictures, or by the ultra wide angle pictures that this lens actually takes. And finally, here's the 5 megapixel macro lens, which is terrible at this job. Here's the main board of the device all by itself. It is solidly built, all the chips are soldered properly to the board. Under this copper foil lies the Snapdragon 720G that is the main brain and powerhouse of this device. So here's the Snapdragon 720G that is responsible for your gaming and the powerful performance of this device. Going back to the main carcass of the device to see what is left of it, I'll first of all take out the speaker here. This is the single firing speaker from the bottom of the device. This speaker and the one I showed you previously, which is the earpiece, combine together to give you that stereo experience. And this graphite sheet here that is wrapped around the speaker at the back is meant to keep water out of the phone. And there are also little water resistant indicators all over the speaker. So I will unclip this ribbon cable here. This ribbon cable connects the display of the phone and the subboard to the main board of the device. So when opening this phone, if you accidentally yank this cable, that might be the end of the device until you are able to get a replacement. I'll also unclip the network cables here. This is where the ribbon cable connects the display to the main board of the device. So I'm going to carefully lift up the subboard of the frame of the device. As tiny as this little board might seem, it plays a very vital role in the day-to-day performance of the device. It is responsible for the phone signal, the mouthpiece, the headphone jack, a lot of other things. I'm going to take off the in-display fingerprint reader here. Let's take a closer look at it. So here's the in-display fingerprint reader up close. It is basically a small camera. What it does is that it takes pictures of your biometrics, sends that information to the phone, and the phone processes that information and then realizes that okay, it is you. And this usually takes a few milliseconds. That is why you notice the delay whenever you put your finger for the phone to unlock it. There's a tiny hole through the display here. This is where it passes through to take a picture of your biometrics. Next up, we're going to remove the battery from the frame of the device. As usual, Samsung does not add pull tabs to their phones, unlike Xiaomi and Apple. So removing a Samsung battery from the carcass of any Samsung phone is usually harder than winning the lottery. After struggling for 600 years trying not to damage the battery, I was able to remove it. The battery is quite solid and it's a bit heavy too. So here's the empty carcass of the phone without anything inside. And one thing I have to give it to Samsung here is that the build quality from the inside is super solid. From the outside, this phone does not feel that premium or solid, but from the inside, I can guarantee you that you're going to be impressed. So if you want to be seeing behind the scenes pictures and videos and how I put back these phones together, follow me up on Instagram and on my Facebook pages. And if you have any other questions, or if you have questions you want to ask me, you can also post them there and I'll be glad to reply you. Alright, until the next time, my name is still Kingsley. I'll catch you again in the next teardown video.